Hey, everybody. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to use either your phone or your computer or your tablet trying to connect to the internet and just could not connect? It just was failing to connect. You were in a bad area where it was poor reception. You just didn't have enough service with where you were to try to use the internet. Hi, I'm Terry. I like to be called a churn auntie. If you have felt that, so have I and a million other people. The other day, I was trying to access the internet to look at the cameras to my office because I was waiting on a delivery. So as I'm trying to connect, it said fail to load, try to refresh. I'm trying to refresh. It would get up to 96% and then stop. I did it like 4 or 5 times, 96%, and then it would stop. So now I'm getting irritated because I'm trying to check these cameras. My manager's not answering her phone. And then I'm realizing she's not at the office. She can't answer the phone because she's not there. So now I'm getting irritated with that all over again. But what dropped in my spirit was, Terry, why are you getting anxious? Because you can't check a camera. Because your internet is failing to connect. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm the churn auntie, and this is our closet conversation for this week. I'm glad you decided to join me. You know, this is my second closet conversation. And as I mentioned to you last week, unscripted, unedited, it's just me. Okay? And that's what we're going to get again today. But think about a time when you tried to connect to that internet and it wouldn't work. The Lord reminded me right then that is how most of us as believers, including non-believers, but I'm talking to believers right now, that's how we live. We are impatient. And when it's not happening when we think it should happen, we get frustrated and we give up. Why would you get to 96% and just say, I'm done? You done toiled, you done suffered, you done labored up to 96%, and now you go quit? The Lord reminded me that failing to connect to the source, and He is the source, it's going to cause delays. How many delays do you have in your life currently? Because you're failing to connect. You're failing to enter into a real prayer life. You're failing to have some private time, some meditation with the Lord, reading your word, feeding your mind with what He says about you and not what you say about you. Are you really connected? Because my sister preached a message years ago called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And when I tell you that resonates with me more now than it did then, because my mind is now being renewed. Isaiah 40:31 says, and I'm going to read the New King James Version, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Thank you, Jesus. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. At this point, do you feel like you fainting? Because if you are fainting, you need to check your connection. Fail to load, refresh. Just like we do with the internet. Develop a stronger prayer life. Dedicate some time to talk to the Lord and not just asking for stuff. Who want to talk to somebody who always asking them for stuff? We don't want to talk to somebody who always asking us for stuff. We got to make God a part of our daily life and not an afterthought. Now, some may say, well, churn auntie is easier said than done. Well, I can attest to that. It takes some dedication until you make it a part of your lifestyle. Just like you need to eat every day, you need to pray every day. Just like your stomach go to growling when you hungry, your body should go to aching and your head should go to hurting when you haven't read your word and prayed that day. Your body needs to be renewed. Your mind needs to be renewed. Your spirit needs to be renewed. Food is the nourishment for your body. Sleep is the nourishment for your body. This word is the nourishment for your spirit and your mind. Why do we feel we can do one without the other? Why do we feel like we can half do stuff and expect we go get a full blessing from God and we half given him ourselves? Fail to connect, reload. At this point, are you going to decide, you know what, Lord, I'm going to just take a chance and give you some of this time that you so rightfully deserves? Isaiah 40:31, it reminds us that trusting in God and having patience in him, it's going to renew us. A lot of us are out here weary and about to faint because we are not fully connected. That's it. Ain't no more. Some of us has got the 96% and we are ready to quit. We are ready to throw in the towel. We watching and paying attention to everything else other than what God says. When are you going to say, look, I've tried it my way 1,000 different times. It just ain't working. I need to try something else. Okay? I need to try something else. Try him. Take some dedicated time. And at first, it may feel like a sacrifice because it's something you're not used to. But you used to eating every day. You used to going to bed every day. Even if you don't get 8 hours, you go to sleep, you take a nap, you go eat. Your stomach go to speaking in tongues, beating your back out. You going to get you something to eat. At this point, we need to feed our mind and feed our spirit. Don't be weary. And don't be weary in well-doing. The Bible tells us that we're going to reap. We just can't faint. Now, are you ready to reload, reconnect, refresh? Try it again. All right, it's the Churn Auntie. I told y'all last week that I really don't have a lot of oxygen to do all that extra talking. Okay? I probably didn't do the whole intro like I was supposed to, like last week, to explain to you, why I call myself the Churn Auntie. That just give you a reason to go watch last week's little brief closet conversation. Okay? I told you last week that, I may have adult ADHD and my attention span real short, and this is going to be a real brief one. Less than 10 minutes. Get your attention and go. All right? I hope y'all had an amazing week. I'm glad you joined me today. I hope to see you again next week. But you know what? I go back to me trying to connect to the internet. And how I almost got frustrated until the Lord quickened my spirit and calmed me down. Take some time to do some meditation. Breathe. Woosa. Don't get upset so fast. And don't speak so fast. Be slow to speak. All right? Until next time, give yourself some grace and put a smile on your face. Hope to see you next week. We'll talk soon. Closet Conversations.